Hi, my name is Lisa, and I've been a Good News Club volunteer at Eagle Creek Elementary in Shakopee for 4 years now, and I have 2 kids that participate in the Eagle Creek Club as well. And just wanted to share a little bit about my experience volunteering at Good News Club. I've helped out with music and games and small groups, and it has been such a positive experience to see the kids growing through worship and prayer time and learning more stories in the Bible that they can connect to their personal lives and growing in their faith and understanding what a personal relationship is with Jesus. And both my kids have been able to not only just learn more Bible stories, but also see how those apply to their everyday lives and make connections with a Christian community at school. It's just so neat that they can see others during the school day that they have share a common bond with based on their faith. And it has been neat too to see over the years, having volunteered for several years now, how kids are growing and learning and understanding and feeling that they have a safe place to come after school to be able to share their faith and learn more and grow in their faith. And I think my favorite part about volunteering in Good News Club has been seeing the kids grow in their prayer life. They have a chance to write down prayer requests, and then the students actually pray for each other during club each week, which is such an encouraging experience to be able to see them lifting each other up in prayer and knowing the power of prayer and being able to hear about how those prayer requests have been answered. And I just wanted to thank everybody who has helped make Good News Club possible, and we're just so grateful to have it as an opportunity at Eagle Creek for both myself to volunteer and for my 2 kids to participate.
Hello everyone. Thank you to Joseph and the team for giving me an opportunity to share what the Lord has done in our neighborhood through CEF and the 5-day clubs. It is truly amazing. CEF has a special place in my heart because that's how I got saved at my mom's own 5-day club, or Good News Club, many years ago. And I couldn't wait until the day that I could start having 5-day clubs in my own neighborhood. My husband and I had children 8 years ago and started having clubs here. And the first year that I went out, I knocked on every door and dropped off an invitation, and I met a girl while I was out there. She was 4 years old, about that age, playing in her yard, and she just really touched my heart and was really on my mind, but I knew she was probably too young. And while I was there to drop off an invitation, her mother pulled in a car with, it turned out to be her father, and I gave them the invitation and thought they probably wouldn't bring her. But I went back again the Sunday night before my club started that year, about 6 years ago now, to invite her to come, and she never did come. But I continued to pray all of that year, and we had a couple other neighbors come in that first year we started club. The second year of our club, I kept praying, and that family had not left my heart, that little girl. I went around my neighborhood again, and I got to their house and knocked on the door, and her older sister answered. I didn't know she had an older sister. And the older sister took the invitation and seemed very serious about it and thoughtful, and so I had some children's tracts with me, and I had the opportunity to take her through that tract. She listened very well, and I just prayed and prayed that maybe she would come. So the Monday of the week we held our club, I almost started to cry when, as I was sitting on our front porch waiting for kids to come and be registered, I see the older sister coming down the street with that little girl who was now 5 and a cousin and a friend. And I just rejoiced at the goodness of God and how he touched that sister's heart, and they came. Their mother worked, and she was a very busy single mom of 4 children. And so they came that year, they came faithfully. It was such an encouraging, exciting thing. When that club was over, I decided that I should go over and meet her mom and let her mom know what she was learning about at our club, what her kids were learning about. They had told me their mom was expecting a baby and that their dad had died. So I went over to their home a few days after the club had ended, and knocked on the door. The mother was very happy to receive me in. And I told her, would you like to have a Bible study with me? And she actually was thrilled to say yes. And so she came to our house. We would meet at our house in between her very crazy schedule as a single mom of 4 children. She didn't even know who Adam and Eve were, but it was just a delight to sit at my kitchen table and to go through very slowly through a study for a couple months. And then all of a sudden I lost touch with her. with the mother. I couldn't get her to respond, and it was pretty discouraging for a number of months. I just thought, well, Lord, I guess maybe that's all I'm gonna see. I don't know. But I continued in the summertime. I try to get out and walk through my neighborhood and be out there and talk to people, and would find reasons to stop at their house, like making Easter baskets for the kids and bringing them over, bringing a meal, things like that. And fast forward a couple of years, her girls continued to come to our Bible club every summer. In fact, I believe it was the next summer, that girl who was 5 at the time came up to me on her bike one evening and said, Miss Jen, are you still gonna have the Bible club? I sure hope you are. And that was such a sweet confirmation that I needed to continue doing that. Through some various circumstances, a couple of years later, the girls were still coming, but they were becoming friends with another Christian family in the neighborhood, and that mother invited the older daughter and her girls to a girls' conference, and the older daughter professed salvation. Prior to that, I had just prayed for opportunities to talk to her throughout the year. At her birthday, I bought her a book, and at the end of club one day, I walked over, she was by herself, I walked up to her and said, do you know where you're gonna spend eternity? And she looked at me and she just said no, and she had to leave right away, and so we didn't get to finish the conversation, but God was faithful in her life, and he will continue to be. I was so thrilled to hear that she had wanted to trust Christ as her Savior later on. Then fast forward to last summer, the younger daughter had come with us to church a few times, and it's just her schedule was really hard, so it's hard to get her there. But on a Friday morning in June, before school was out, I was getting some things ready in my kitchen to have some neighbors over, and my cell phone rang, and it was her, which was very unusual, and I was concerned that maybe she wasn't okay because I knew her mom was working. And I answered the phone right away and said, good morning, is everything okay? And she said, Jen, I just want to call and tell you, I got saved this week. No one has ever called to tell me that they got saved. No one's ever called me to tell me they got saved that I witnessed to, and it really touched my heart. And she had been at a church for a youth group that Wednesday night, and she had trusted Christ as her Savior. I was so thrilled. And so they came to Bible Club that summer. Still all this time, I had occasional contact with their mom. Wasn't totally sure, but tried to be really respectful of her as the mom, and not reaching out to the girls unless she knew why I was reaching out. Fast forward this last winter, as I was praying for my club, I saw on Facebook that the mother had been baptized and the kids, and I thought, what? And so I reached out, didn't hear anything back, but I was able to touch base this spring and find out that she has given her life to Christ through various circumstances this winter. It is amazing. She and her fiance have both given their lives to Christ, and she cannot stop talking now in Facebook posts, or when I see her. I went to her house this spring and she said, can you come in? Can I tell you what Jesus has done in my life? And she said to me, Jen, Jesus has set me free. He's set me free from all my addictions. We used to have police go through our neighborhood regularly because of some issues with drugs. It's gone, it's over, and she has been set free, and she can't stop talking about him. And so I just absolutely rejoice in what God has done in my own neighborhood. I have prayed for them every week for 6 years, and he's doing miracles. And she gave me permission to share this with all of you tonight. She said, yes, please, of course, tell them what the Lord is doing in our lives. The story isn't over yet. He's doing other things in other families in our neighborhood as we continue to be a witness whenever we can, on the street and on the phone and things like that. But thank you so much for your support of CEF. It has obviously touched my life when I was a child in my own salvation, and then it has opened so many doors for me to have spiritual conversations with my neighbors by having signs out that say Bible Club. It's just been wonderful, and I am so thankful to the Lord for Child Evangelism Fellowship.